Hey everybody, welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and today we're going to be talking about what's happening in the real estate market as of the end of April 2025. But before we do that, if this is your first time in this channel and you want to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I lived in several major centers in my adult life, but I settled in Calgary way back in 2001. And not only that, I've been a residential realtor here since 2010. And all this means I have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of the bedroom communities, you would like some assistance to purchase a home, or you're considering selling a home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's talk about what's happening with real estate in the city of Calgary right after this. All right, so let's jump into things right now. So these are the latest and greatest real estate stats as of the end of April 2025. The reason why this is the latest stats that we have is because we're just into the beginning of May, and that means May isn't over, but the month of April is. And so this tells us exactly what's happening in the Calgary residential real estate market, looking at detached homes, semi-detached homes, row or townhomes, if you will, and the apartment sector. Now, these are benchmark prices, and this is a far more stable way of looking at pricing as opposed to looking at average or median prices, where those prices can be skewed by, say, an unusual high number of, say, expensive sales in a month, or the reverse, a high number of lower price sales a month, which could skew the data from month to month. So benchmark price looks at, say, the average detached home, the average semi-detached home, row home, and apartment in each community and puts it all together. It also breaks it down into all the communities as well. So this puts it all together for the whole city in each specific market type. Again, detached, semi-detached, row, and apartment sector. So without further ado, let's jump in and look at things here. So first off, we're going to look at these dials, and we can see that all of these dials are in the gray sector, meaning they're in balanced market territory. And I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit just so we can see exactly what's happening. And you can see on the detached sector, we're at 44%, on a semi-detached, 39%, 35% for row housing, which are townhomes, and the apartment sector is 32%. Now, a buyer's market is considered to be anything below 30%, the seller's market, anything above 50%, and that in between, that 30 to 50% indicates a balanced market. Now, I personally like a balanced market for buyers and sellers because when we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market, one of the parties is oftentimes making rash decisions, and sometimes that can affect their decision making, if you will. Sometimes their decisions aren't always the best, even though I do my best and my colleagues do my best to counsel their clients on what they should or should not do. However, a balanced market is such that both parties are uh, making more prudent decisions. So I like balanced markets. Now, let's just take a look at the detached sector. So you can see we're sitting at roughly 44%. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that there were 2,511 active listings in April, and 1,102 of them, or 44% of them, sold. So the benchmark price for the detached homes is sitting at $769,300 right now. So that's your average detached home in Calgary. And month to month, this is down 0.06% from March. Now, I should say that March prices were sitting at $769,800, and now we're at $769,300. So, in the grand scheme of things, is this a big change? No. This is very stable. And year to year, prices are up 2.41% from April of 2024. Now we're just going to zoom out a little bit here, and you can see the days on market for the detached sector on average in the city of Calgary is 25 days on market. So the reason why I was kind of hammering home that there's not a whole lot of change from last month to this month is there's been a lot going on in the world. Certainly with Trump tariffs, with the election coming here in Canada, and now there's a liberal government. I don't care how anybody voted. Uh, my personal viewpoint is now we all have to pull together as Canadians and make things better. And I was expecting that there was a high possibility that there would be some big changes from month to month, from last month to this month, but they're not. Things are quite stable. So I think that's a really good sign. Of course, the tariffs have been at play over the last month as well. So, there was a lot of volatility in the markets. So what was going to happen? But our Calgary real estate market, certainly for the detached sector, has certainly seemed to ride through that just fine. So now we'll look at the semi-detached sector of the market, and you can see our listing absorption rate is 39%, and that's because there were 484 active semi-detached homes in Calgary, with 190 of them, or 39% of them, being sold this month. Okay, so the benchmark price for a semi-detached home in Calgary is roughly $691,700, and this is down a whopping 0.03%. And what does that mean? Well, we're sitting at 691,700, and last month we were sitting at 691,900. So down by a whole $200. Again, very, very stable. And our days on market here is sitting at 25 days on market on average. And now we're going to take a look at the row home sector, which is townhomes. And you can see the listing absorption rate is sitting at this 35%. And that's because we had 1,005 actives with 355 of them, or in other words, 35% of those homes selling, which gives us this 35%, putting us in this balanced market territory. Now, the benchmark price for a row home in Calgary right now is sitting at $457,400. And this is up from last month, 0.75% from March 2025. And that's because last month, benchmark price was 454,000, and now it's 457,400. So again, quite stable, in fact, showing a little bit of growth. And year to year, this sector of the market is up 0.53% from April of last year, with an average days on market sitting at 30 days on market on average. And now we'll take a look at the apartment condominium sector of our market. And you can see this is a little bit of a different story here. We're sitting much closer to that buyer's market. In fact, depending what sector or what area of the city you're looking in and the price points, you might find that some of these condos are in a buyer's market. You might find that some of them are on the high end of the balanced market, maybe even a seller's market, depending what it is and where it is. Overall, we're sitting at this 32%, which is kind of teetering on the balance the buyer's market territory. And the benchmark price here, and the reason why it's 32%, first off, is we had 1,867 actives, with 589 of those properties being sold, or 32%. Now, the benchmark price sitting at $336,000, down again, just a whole whopping 0.03% from last month. Last month, prices were $336,100, and here we are sitting at $336,000. And year to year, we're up 0.5% from April of last year. So overall, very, very stable. The take-home message here is that the market seems to be weathering things just fine. And sorry, days on market here is 36 days on market on average. But the market seems to be absorbing things just fine in the city of Calgary. Again, we are a very different market from a lot of other sectors in Canada. And it seems that it's going to be business as usual. Now that we have some stability, I'm actually expecting we're going to see some price increases next month. I know that's a bold statement. We'll see if that holds true or not. But I think now that there's stability, Canadians are going to get used to this, and roughly 1,300 more days of the gentleman who's the president in the U.S. down south of us. he whose name I shall not say. Um, but I think we understand that's what we're getting. Now we've got a government in place. Now it's the new normal. Let's get back to work and let's get back to the business of buying and selling homes because people do need homes and there still is a housing shortage in Canada. So that's the story this month. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to me.
As I said earlier, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of the bedroom communities, or if you're considering selling your home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.